Our MC has welcomed you officially on Mrs. Strickland and her family's behalf, and all the relatives who are here. And I would like to say once again, thank you for coming. We are going to make a start now by waiting for the others to arrive. See, in our program, it's 5 o'clock, but you know, in the Pacific Islands, we force the time. Time doesn't force us. So our time is going to be less. We're going to make the election shortly. Now we'll make a start. And I want to do something that might be strange or unfamiliar to most of you here. But because there's a crowd and we cannot shake your hands, all of you, it will take a long time to do that, so we're going to shake hands in our style. And this is how we do it. When I say 1, please put your right hand up like this. When I say 2, put your hand in this position like this. And when I say 3, Maya. That's the one from Bola in India. All right. Good night, or whatever you can speak, or around, whatever. Okay? 1, 2, 3. The word is Maya. Maya. Can you say this word again once, please? Maya. Good. Try again. Maya. Come on. Maya. Very good. You're speaking very good German now. Okay. Let's make a start. 1, 2, 3. We're going to ask you to sing with us. Our first tune is number 299 in the Lutheran book. The English translation is "And are we get alive to see each other's face." But we're going to sing it in the Lutheran. This hymn is, if you have to follow the national anthem of the Methodist Church, you see this in every occasion that we meet together to welcome each other. And now we get alive to see each other's face. It's not here, but it's really actually. So you can sing it here with us and ask Mrs. Strickland and go ahead to lead us. Stand over as we sing.
That's enough TV3. Are we on the air now? Say Action TV.
everybody, every guest that my family invited and attended this function this evening, thank you very much for coming and accepting my family's invitation. Thirdly, I would like to thank my family for all the work that they have done. Not only to show me, but to show all of you, my friends, that they have appreciated our mother and also our father to them. Perhaps before the end of my speech, I would like to ask my family to come in front, and also the workers, my extended family who supported my children for providing this lovely dinner that we have tonight. And first, way back in February 1993, I left school straight off to the nursing school. I know some of you, our Fijian friends, will know that during those years, a nurse or a young girl that left school to go nursing, that's usually the second grade. First grade, when you are going to the teacher's training to become a teacher, or to go to an office and do office work. But nursing has been my choice. I've chosen nursing, and I've forced my way through without my mother and my brother, because my father died when I was only young. And it's only because they thought that I might classify, as a second grade to become a nurse. They never think that nurse is something good, or maybe only the clever girls that go to the teacher's training college and do office work, and then if you can't get there, then you take nursing as a second chance. But I didn't think that way. I don't know why. Even though my mother was a nurse, a trained nurse, and her family, nursing came quite a long way with my mother's family. And she didn't want it. She says to me, oh, you have to go and take big pans, empty pans, and do those dirty things, work in the snooze room. So I don't think so. You should to go there. Go and take teaching, which is quite big. But I never liked that. So when it comes to the day for the interview to go to the nursing training, I didn't go. There were 3 of us in our class. During those days, the Mariposa, the cruiser, the big boat, it was its first trip to Fiji. So I went to watch, or to have a look at the ship, instead of going to my interview to go to the training college. However, it was a surprise to my mother that I was accepted to go training. So she can't do anything else but to From there I have made up my mind that I was going to train and to become a nurse, but nothing else. I've started training and I've told you in 1953, and I completed my training in 1956. After I completed my training in 1956, I got married and went away to the Cook Islands. That's where my husband comes from. We met in Suva when he was doing his medicine. When he qualified, we both qualified the same year. We got married and we went away to Aitutaki in the Cook Islands. Some of you will know the Cook Islands. It's got 22 islands, but it's got different from the biggest one to the smallest one. And there's only 16 that people live in. However, as a young mother, I went and a new life, new people. But I was still hoping that I would continue on my nursing. I went there and started straight away because they were short of staff during those days, and they needed the training staff to work. So we worked together. He was the doctor and I was the nurse. And I think if I remembered that I only went off from work for 5 months after I had my first child. And that was that. When we transferred out from Aitutaki to Achiu, which is another smaller island, it was from there that I went on nursing from one island to the next island. And it wasn't easy because when you go there to work, the people expect you to do more, or shall I say, to do miracles in my nursing field. At times, I have to ride a horse to go and visit my patients which are inland, where the Land Rover couldn't go through the hills, and there wasn't any track. So to go and visit a sick person or to do my antenatal clinic for the pregnant mothers, I have to ride a horse to get there, or to cycle, or to a bush bike. And these things I've never done when I was training. You know, back in Fiji we don't do those sort of things. It's only in the anterior. However, the first day I rode the horse, I was thinking of my mother back home. I thought, well, I wonder what she's going to say to see me on the horse with my medical bag. But those days are gone. And we are in Auckland now. When I left Achiu after working 3 years, we went to Mahiki. Mahiki, it's just a straight flat island. You can see the sea from one side to the other side. And one new thing I learned from here is that there's no cars, and I have to use for my transportation from one little island to the next little island by boat, by an open boat, or a boat with a sail that depends on the wind to take me to visit my patients on the other island. Or even in another, during the night time, in the rough weather, when there's a maternity patient that needed me, I have to get into this boat. It's either on the outboard motor or with the sails to sail to the other side. I have experienced this life, which is another thing that I learned in my nursing, that you have to. When we left Manihiki after 3 years, we were asked to go and work in Penryn, which is another island further north in the Cook Island. When I went to Penryn, I found the work was a little bit harder for me because my mothers, the patients, they don't really understand English well during those days. And for me to speak in English to them, to try and explain things that I wanted to be done in the hospital and in my public health side, it's rather difficult. So what I did, I went to night classes with the head teacher of that island, Penryn, so I can learn how to speak in Penryn and in the Rarotongan dialect. And I managed to get it within 6 months. During those days, I thought to myself, well, you know, that would be my third island that I went to work. When I was there, something very special happened to me and my husband when we were there. In 1962, we had an epidemic of gastroenteritis with children in the island. And the 2 islands in Penryn is run about 600 people, that's children and adults. And they were divided, there were 2 islands, and in the middle of the 2 islands is a lagoon where people go and dive pearls, you know, the mother of pearls. And that is their source of income, that they get the pearls or the shells and sell it. And that is something very dear to me. They do that in Manihiki as well. But in Penryn, the lagoon is very deep, that the men go in the morning and come back in the evening with what they get for the day. They go to the local store and sell them. And that was another thing that I thought, well, I mean, if I stayed in Fiji, I wouldn't see this type of life the people in Fiji live. That is what God given to them. They live on their daily life, rely on coconut, rely on the fish from the sea, and the seashells that they can use. There's no taro, no potato. All these things has to be shipped from Rarotonga to Penryn, which is about 600 miles north of Rarotonga. One time, when we went to Penryn, I was carrying my last daughter, the 5th one of the family. When I had her, was only 6 weeks old when this epidemic happened in Penryn. And there were about 16 children under the age of 5, but my daughter was only 6 weeks. And it was worse. We ran out of drugs, we ran out of electrolytes. Even with the intravenous fluids, we haven't got any left. We lost one child, we lost the second one, and I was looking to my daughter who was only 6 weeks. At that time, I was that desperate. I thought to myself, well, if I have managed to nurse other sick children before and they survive, what is going to happen to my nursing if I cannot bring my 6-week daughter back to life? And I knew she was going very low, so was the other children in the hospital. That very particular morning, I can see her eyes started to roll. And that very Wednesday morning, back to the island, you know that prayer meetings every Wednesday or so often during the week, they get together and pray. And it just happened that Wednesday morning was the turn where we want to go to the church and pray early in the morning at 7 o'clock. Suddenly dawned to me that we were going to have our prayer meeting that morning. I got onto my bicycle and cycled to church, while my husband stayed back and looked after my daughter and the rest of the children in the hospital. I went to church that morning and I prayed to God. You have brought me from a far land, from Fiji, to look after the sick people in Penryn. Please don't let me discourage and give my lesson away. However, that very morning, the sunrise was beautiful. I was still in the church and the others. I went home after the church, after our prayer meeting. As we sat down to have breakfast in our dining room that morning, I saw the post office boy came around, and I knew there is a good news, whether the good news or the bad news. But 2 days before that, we have sent a telegram to Rarotonga, who is the main center of the whole of the island, and asked for help. We could have some supplies sent in to us. That morning when we were having breakfast, the telegram boy arrived from the post office with a telegram telling my husband that there will be a flight, paperless flight, from Christmas Island at 11 o'clock that morning, bringing medical supplies to Penrith. When I looked at it, I thought, well, my prayers in the church have been answered. During those times, there was the test of the hydrogen bomb in Christmas Island. That's where the British and the Americans went there, and that's where we got our help from Penrith. About 11:30 that morning, we had that big plane landed. There was this beautiful airstrip prepared by the Americans during the war, and it was left there. Only now and then that we have planes landed in Penrith. However, we had our medical supply, and all those children, included my 6-week-old daughter that survived because of that. That had made my life change. Even though I was only a young mother, brought up from a Christian family, when I qualified and went away, I wasn't really thinking serious about our Lord. But when this incident happened, that's changed my life completely. The way I look at God and the way He answered my prayers because of my daughter. And she's alive until today. Every now and then I reminded her that that special incident happened in Penrith. If God didn't listen to my prayer, or didn't hear my prayer, she probably won't be here today. There are other things that happen when you become a nurse, when you care for the sick, where you're supposed to be an example to the other mothers that rely on you to advise them with the wise or with the wisdom that you have accomplished from your training. It's not that when you train you know everything. No, you still have to learn. Every day you learn new things. Towards the end of my stay in Penrith, I've had a mother that was a placenta previa that bleeded, and I was the only group of blood on the island that known. Perhaps there are others, but they've never tested. But you see, in the Cook Islands, before you go out to work, you have to know what group you are. So it's just I was the only one known. So I was the only one that my husband had to take out blood to help out the lady that lost a lot of blood. But I thank God that all these things happened during those days that made me think and change and to become a matured mother. I worked in the Cook Islands for 15 years, from 1957 to 1972, when I arrived in Auckland. What made me think to come to Auckland is when my husband was given a scholarship to go to India. So my family was still small, so I didn't go with him. He went to India and I stayed in Auckland. But I was fortunate that before I left Rarotonga, I had made arrangement with the nursing council if I could work in here. And I was given the chance whether to work in Auckland or to go to Wellington. So I decided to come to Auckland. And this is how I live in Auckland with my family. And when I came here in 1972, I was planned to go to National Women's. And I worked from there for 9 years in National Women's. And then I asked to transfer to St. Helens, when St. Helens was still in Mount Albert. When I've had my first grandchild and it was too far off, to try and help out with my daughter with her work so that I can do night shift and closer to home. So this is how I asked for a transfer, and the board transferred me to Mount Albert, to St. Helens. I started there, and then 2.5 years in St. Helens. And then I've decided to go and work as a private in the house, one of my friends at home. So I went there. From there I went on agency nursing with Maddox for a year. And then from there I saw the advertisement in the Western Leader for St. Joseph's. So I looked at it and I thought, because it says from Monday to Friday, 6:30 to 3. And that made me think twice. If I go there, that means I won't be doing any more night shift. So I rang and made an appointment to go for an interview. And that's when I met Sister Claire. And when I had the interview, she said to me, oh, you can come and start on Monday, and this was a Friday. So I just thanked the Lord. I thought, well, I wonder what's going to happen. I didn't know where St. Joseph is. So when I went there, and all the time I go past there when I go over the shores, and there's this nice hospital for old people that I started working in there, and it's been 6 years now since I've been with the Little Sisters of the Poor, St. Joseph. Then today, I must admit that I have learned a lot during those years of nursing. There are days that are not really good, that you feel down, you feel that you're going to throw everything away. But there are days that you enjoy the working. One thing I've noticed with people all these years that I seem to enjoy my work. I've noticed because if I have problems at home with the family, when I go to work, I forget all my problems at home. I know that there is something special the Lord has given to me, is that nursing, that is able to comfort me, and I'm able to enjoy the work. And this is why I really think in nursing, you cannot make a nurse. No matter how you push. I did that with my 3 girls. I pushed when they were at school to go a nurse, to become a nurse. No. Nursing, it all depends on you, a gift from God. That you'll be able to share and care for the sick. And I think that some of you will probably know that that is true. You cannot make someone a nurse. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, before I end, I thank you, every one of you, for coming along and sharing the dinner that we have done. It's a thanksgiving to God for His care and His love for me and all of us. I would like to call all my family. Please come around in here, and all of you that have shared the work, doing the hugging and preparing all the cooking. I would like to acknowledge my 2 nieces that came overseas. Mary White, my brother's eldest girl in the family, and Aliti and the husband, who came especially for today. Unfortunately, my brother's not well, so he couldn't make the trip. I want all of you to come inside. Come and show yourself so everyone will see you. You've been doing so much work for this lovely dinner that we've enjoyed. Thank you. Boys that did the hanging, please come. All of you doing the curry and all the today. I thank everyone, all of you who helped out with the cooking, especially with our MC, Amoy. And Rosa, my niece. They're more or less the boss of the group, of the team that prepared the food, and also for the entertainment that you will see later on during the program. I thank everyone once again for coming along and making this evening a successful evening. Thank you very much.
Our next item here will be the cutting of the cake. So please, Auntie Sue.
Who made the cake specially for me today. Thank you, Rocky. Stand up so everyone can see you.
For she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us, so, and so say all of us, so, and so say all of us. เรียนมาเรื่องเดียว
Thank
Nisambula Vinaka, the community of the Turana in Amarama, my Viki Kevutum. The community of the Turana in Amarama, and the Manu of the Turana Kapon. The community of the Turana in Amarama, and the Manu of the Turana Kapon. Raya, Nisambula, Malolele, Kiarana, Tenago Tokato. I speak tonight on behalf of the Lutuman group from the White Castle and the Bay of Wales. Auntie Susau, it gives me great pleasure to be here tonight. I wouldn't miss this for anything in the world. And thank you, one and all, for coming here to share with us the joy of this evening. Thank you. 40 years nursing is a dedication. I know exactly what she meant when she talked about the sick people. For the last 12 years, I dealt with sick people too, but from a different angle. I go to the wards, I upset them, I amuse them, but they all ask me to come back the next day. And that's the joy of, knowing what the sick is like. I walk into a room, and there are a lot of sick people in there, and I say to the ladies, oh ladies, you're all smiling at me this morning, you must be all getting healthy. And the nurse would walk to the door and whisper to me, bloody liar. But I enjoy it, and I cheer the people up. Well, today we have come to celebrate a very, very special landmark in Auntie Susau's life, 40 years of nursing. And that's the Lutuman woman. They are very brave, and without us to do a name. They are very brave. And I would like to thank all these lovely young ladies and men here for the entertainment tonight. And to Auntie Susau's family for the beautiful dancing that you saw earlier on. And thank you very much for everybody that came to make this day a happy day for Auntie Susau and her family. Thank you once and all. Before we do our last item that we bring to the performance, and inviting some of you to speak, I want to say a few words to express our thanks and our gratitude to Auntie Susau and all the children and grandchildren and members of their families. And I speak on behalf of one of the Lutumans in New Zealand. Being the leader of the Lutuman, New Zealand Lutuman Fellowship, which joins together Lutumans from South Island and Lutumans from North Island and their families, spouses and all, to say thank you very much for inviting us to be part of this celebration. I know your children sent invitations to all the Lutumans in New Zealand, and I speak on their behalf. It has been a wonderful evening. Started about 2 weeks ago, when this particular group in Auckland and Waikato, their playing started practicing. those of us who live further down south, further up north, even outside New Zealand, Fiji and Sydney, Australia, we were part of you in this preparation. And many of them would have loved to be here tonight, but because of distance and other commitments, were not able to make it. But their hearts are here. And so I speak on their behalf to say thank you for the invitation and thank you for what a lovely evening together. And I'm glad that our two cameramen are making tapes or video tapes of this function so that they can see what happened tonight and enjoy the joy that we have been enjoying the whole week and more so tonight. Thank you for having us, and I hope you have enjoyed the entertainment. Your nephews and nieces and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and members of the recruitment community have performed. We have eaten so much that I thought we might not be able to perform. And it was good these young people are able to have the energy to perform, and so I congratulate them and thank them also for performing tonight. I speak to support what Porter has said. He speaks on behalf of the White Carpenter Friendly. That's where his group comes from. And he'll be the leader of the Auckland group. And I speak on their behalf and I speak of all precious returns and their friends and families in New Zealand. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for having us and thank you for this wonderful entertainment. And I hope and pray, or we hope and pray that you'll have many, many more wonderful years ahead of you. Perhaps maybe not in nursing, you might decide to retire very soon. But as you retire, in your retirement with your family and all the returning friends, and also our future brothers and sisters who are part of them and they're part of us. May they all enjoy life together in the work that we all do and also with our Heavenly Father's help. Well, puxa le a fea mai ai ya te lo o pa le Susau e re te na su dom po. What the fea mai ya o mai no se ata fea ni na suati. E re po atoan so ni re Marty si os si hite si au na Auckland e po fea o road na so come. No se ni o na to te pleti. Mas was si risa e pa ma ai in famiglia che abbiamo studiato qua ma oggi voglio dire da buon so ma poi salto ma non mandi anche mai so è quello che rispondo che siamo no quando ne prendi ma Auckland ma capito se rendiamo che non è da buon maar met die studie support, de polo waarschijnlijk waarschijnlijk zien dat het goed is genoeg. Is la wat Mariella so aangelegt, maar het is een superieur de deels mapping aan, maar niet zo te maken. Voor de leia aan, maar ja map en niet zo te maken voor de consumers dan zie. Als je mouw en als je dat voor de merk, is leuk van ons aan het. Jij wil nu niet doen maar dat ook wel voor mouw. Vai delle nazi qua come sopra il disegno ma ho ne perché a me se devo vedere se fosse la partita la grande Susau e non c'era il favore di ma che tagliato qua sapeva se si mi devo sentire ma se non hanno mai di devo finti guarda mi hanno messo poi di finti parlo da fuori is the one out of the journey is part of the so as I listen to the part Susau rendava delle altre qua, ma poi puxa le altre mai da una sorte, delle altre qua, non hanno tempi. say our closing prayer. That gives permission for you to leave if you want to, but then the rest of us can stay and dance this whole program night. After the closing prayer, then please you go to stay. And now we try to come down and say the closing prayer. Right.